I've come to the conclusion that it's about time that men take responsibility for the things that women refuse to take responsibility for. I know it's tough because most of us are logical, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And if a woman is in control of who gets to come into this world or doesn't, they have more power than men. But we're starting to realize that no matter how many times we say this to them, and no matter how many times we come up with facts, and no matter how many times we say you have way more ways to prevent pregnancy than we do, they're not going to get it. They're just not. So if you choose to deal with women on a sexual level, you must be in control of your nut. You must be. And I know it seems like it's frustrating, right? Because there's so many things that can go wrong when it comes down to that. But hear me out. There are many ways to prevent this. There really are. So this is my progression when I'm dealing with a woman, and this is going to be my contribution to all the young boys who don't have fathers to tell them this shit, and all the young ladies who want to hear from a man's point of view, because unfortunately most women don't want to hear us. So here goes. When I'm thinking about having sex with a woman, the first thing I do before I have sex with her, because one thing I don't do one night stands. I don't do one night stands, and for the most part, it takes around 3 to 4 weeks before I start actually being sexually active with a woman, because there's too many things that have to happen before that. Now, I wasn't always like this, but it's gotten to that point. The more and more I've progressed, and the more I gotten wise to the game, I start realizing, I have to be a little bit more slow and more selective when it comes down to who I put my dick in. So the first thing I do is ask them a bunch of questions, and they're all pertaining to the the lead up to the sexual, the bedroom. So one of the first questions that I ask is, "Are you on birth control?" Okay, I mean that goes without saying why I asked that question. I didn't ask if she is. I ask when is the time that she use it? What type of birth control is she on? Um, and what time she usually take a pill if she doesn't have the shot or the patch. Okay, how often do she miss if she does it all at all miss? Because a lot of women that I've dealt with are really spot on with that. If she says she is not on birth control, the next thing I ask is why not? Now they usually come up with some bullshit answer because it affects my body negatively and the side effects this, and I don't like all the IUD bullshit and the sponge and all the blah, 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 blah. Like they just come up with all kinds of reasons why they don't want to do it, and ultimately it usually is really a insurance thing or it's a money thing. That's really what it is, but they won't say that because anybody that's walking around with a Coach bag will know if you have money for a Coach bag, you got a fucking money for birth control. But whatever. I digress. The point is, when they say no, I didn't ask why. And then when they give me their cockamamie and bullshit answer, I shouldn't even ask that question because I already know why they're not on it. One, they either want to get pregnant, or two, they don't want to pay for the birth control. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. I already know they're not responsible. So I have to think for them because women tend to act like teenagers that don't want to come out of their teenage facade. So, the third question that I ask is, when was the last time you had an STD test? That should be self-explanatory why I asked that question. The fourth question I ask is, do you believe in abortion? This is a very important question to ask because if the woman doesn't believe in abortion, you know that you have to take even further precautions to make sure she does not get pregnant. Because if in the event that she does get pregnant, that's your ass. She's just going to take you for 18 years because she's not going to get rid of the baby. She literally just told you that. Okay. What else? ST birth control. Oh, are you allergic to spermicide? Okay. This is a very important question because I tend to back up condom wearing with spermicide. And that's because I don't really trust condoms. Condoms can break. They slip off. They're very easily messed. They're very easily, which word that I'm looking for? You can really fuck up. You can make mistakes, more mistakes with condoms than you can with actual birth control pill. So that's why I don't really trust condoms so much. That doesn't mean I don't use them. It's just that I don't trust them. I don't rely on them. Okay. And there's other reasons why I don't rely. I mean, I've been in situations where I'll get to that later. But anyway, so I asked that question, and a lot of times women haven't heard of spermicide. There's a lot of women out there that haven't heard of it or never used it before. And spermicide is very mild on the female's vagina. Sometimes it will cause a yeast infection. Sometimes it doesn't. But I'd rather you deal with the Monistat 3 than, a missed period for 3 months. So I'd much rather you deal with that. And then I ask, is she allergic to latex? Because if she's allergic to latex, that means I got to buy a special condom specifically for her. Again, I already got the STD test, so I'm not really worrying about if it's going to protect me from STDs or anything like that, because I know she doesn't have any because she got the STD test. All right. But in the event that we do have sex, I still want to make sure I have that extra barrier when it comes down to pregnancy. And then the last thing I ask is, do you swallow? Now, at this point, the woman is thinking that we're venturing into like a sexual conversation, which we're really not. I'm still probing her. The reason why I asked that question is because there have been times when women would trick a man by catching his semen in her mouth, run to the bathroom to pretend to spit it out. Instead, she takes a cup, spit in the cup, and she holds it over until he leaves. Then she goes and get a turkey baster and inseminate herself. I don't want to be that guy. So I need to know whether you swallow or not. Because if you're a swallower, all I have to do to confirm that is ask you a question. How the fuck did you learn how to do that? And then when she go, don't be asking now. Don't worry about that. I know she swallowed. But if I ask that question, she go, here's a cup. Go ahead and spit that out because I need you to answer that question. And then when I go in the bathroom, I take my cup with me and I dispose of my own semen myself. I watch it goes down the drain, or I watch it get flushed down the toilet. There was one time where I was dealing with this girl and sex was fucking amazing. Everything was rocking. As a matter of fact, I got another point to talk about this particular girl, but I'll say that later in the video. But it was rocking. It was amazing. And we was doing our thing. I'm not going to get graphic, but when I pulled out, I came so hard that it just shot across the room and I couldn't figure out where it went. So I turned on all the lights and I'm looking for it and stuff like that. And she's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking for my nut. And she was like, why? I was like, because I need to find it. She's like, it's not that serious. I said, no, it is that serious. You know what I'm saying? I got to find it. So I found it, took some tissue, whatever. And it was on the wall, dripping down the wall. And that's why I couldn't see it, because it blended in on the wall. I come out, drop, wipe it up with tissue, and I flush it down the toilet. Okay. So, yeah, I am really conscious, and I need to know where my nut is at all times, especially in this day and age, because I don't want to be stuck with some baby mama drama just because I needed to bust a nut. I don't want that. I don't want to have that problem. So, those are the questions that I ask women. And I found that many women are really okay with these questions. They don't get offended. They might get a little turned off, but so fucking what? Like, I need to know what type of person you are. I need you to understand I don't want any kids, or at least not from you. And, or at least not right now. And this is just going to be sex for now. We can go wherever you want with it after the fact, but I need to make sure what is in your head, and I need you to know that I'm not playing games. Okay? I'm not playing games with my body, and I'm damn sure not playing games with my sperm. So those are what things that I say. Now, one may ask, why do you go through so many procedures? Why do you have so many roadblocks? You only need one or two. And here's my answer. Because when you are in the heat of the moment, you don't know what type of decision you're going to make. Case in point, the same girl I was telling you about when it shot across the room. This girl hated condoms. She hated them with a passion. I insist on starting off with one just to see and whatever. As we were going on, she couldn't complete. Like, she was getting close, but she just couldn't complete. And she was getting frustrated. She was like, man, just take this fucking shit off. And she yanked the damn thing off me. Keep in mind, she's been tested. We had the spermicide, everything like that. But she yanked it off me and she sat back on it. Now, I don't know about you, but that's by far the sexiest shit yo, like it just it's so fucking it's a turn on. And that's why I have so many safeguards, because what if that happens? Look, condoms dry women out. They do. Okay, not all women, but a lot of women get dried out by condoms. Condoms get in the way. All right, there's nothing better than natural sex. Natural sex is, in fact, the best sex you can possibly have. Skin on skin contact, it just works. That's how God intended it, or whatever person you believe in, universe or nature, whatever. That's how it was intended to be. So, of course, you'll have some women that didn't. I've had a couple of women actually either suggest that not take out the condom or just directly took it off the condom. It was one time I was dealing with a girl, and I actually had to go fishing for the condom because it came off and it got lost inside of her. This was before I started STD testing women or having them go get the STD test. And when the condom came off and I had to go fishing for it, that was my wake up call that I need to implement that into the whole thing to make sure that I don't catch nothing. Because yeah, I knew she was on birth control. I knew she was on top of it. I didn't use spermicide at that time, but I did use a condom. And when it came off, it was like, I don't know when it came off. I don't know how long it's been off. I don't know. It could have been off for 15 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know. But when I went down there, because we was changing positions, and I went down there, not only was it not sticking out, it was like, it was off me. So I had to literally go finger fishing to get the shit. And when I went to put on another one, she's like, man, just keep that thing off. Don't put that shit on because it's annoying. And I was like, all right, cool. And again, in the heat of the moment, you don't know what decisions you're going to make. So I make all these precautions prior. I talk about this shit prior when I can think thoroughly and I can make the right decision. So when I go in the bedroom, whatever happens, I'm protected. I'm okay. I have spermicide. I have her on birth control. If she's not on birth control, I at least have the condom. Something is there. STD test already on the goddamn counter. I know she's clean because she just got her shit. She knows I'm clean because I just got my shit. And everybody feels more safe that way. There's no question that we're clean, we're safe, we're protected. And God forbid she does get pregnant. If she does, that baby's supposed to be here. Because if you got past the condom, the pull-out method, the freaking spermicide, and the goddamn birth control, bitch, that kid, you might as well have that kid. That kid was destined to be here. That's going to be a fucking Einstein or some shit. We are not aborting that child. Because we done went through hella shit to make sure he doesn't come. And that nigga still got through? Yeah, that nigga was supposed to be here. But that's because I took all the precautions. And yes, I have used the morning after pill once. One time. I couldn't be sure if I pulled out fast enough. So I had her take the morning after pill. And yes, she was on birth control or whatever, what have you, but I wasn't playing no games. So that's when I was really paranoid. This was the first girl that I was really with, before my wife, or not before my wife, but since I've been with my wife. It's the first girl I've ever been with since I've been with my wife. So I was really fucking nervous, but she was a good girl and it was whatever. But these are the things that I take to make sure I don't make mistakes. Okay. Because again, in the heat of the moment, shit just go left, man. Like you got a hot chick, man, and it's everything's right. The music's going, the candles are burning, and she touching you right, and you touching her right, and you just rock hard, and she just insists for you to take off the condom. Most niggas is gonna do that shit. Most niggas gonna say, nah, fuck that, fuck this goddamn condom shit. Most niggas are gonna do that. That's why I don't rely on condoms. I don't rely on them because they break. They are annoying. They get in the way. They fall off. It's too many goddamn ways for that shit to not work. Okay, so the next video is I'm going to discuss the pull-out method and how to be effective with the pull-out method. All right, so stay tuned. You guys have a good one.